Hello there. In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss about concept and configuration of remote domains in Exchange Server 2010. So what exactly the remote domains are? When you create a remote domain entry, you control the type of messages that are sent to the domain. For example, it's for the outside domain. Whatever format or whatever kind of message you want your employees, your users to send, you can control all that. You can also apply message format policies, acceptable character sets for messages that are sent from user in your organization to the remote domain. The settings for remote domains are global configuration setting for the Exchange organization. Example, there are lots of organizations which actually want every user particular to use the signature might be the logo of the company as a signature all the time whenever they send a mail. So that is basically you can configure from remote domains that whatever domain I want, maybe my client or maybe for the company we are working for. So in that case, if we are interacting or our employee interacting with the company, you can basically allow those employees whose server is interacting can send a mail with the signature as a logo of the company as well, that we are the part of the company, and very proudly you can represent the company in front of your client, so that you can do that. Another thing is, by default there is a single remote domain entry and the domain address space is configured as asterisk. By default, whenever Exchange server created, by default the domain entries will remain as asterisk, and that is the by default one. This represent all remote domain. It means that in all remote domain, if for example you edit this particular thing, and if specifically you want to create some configuration for the specific domain, you can do that. But as of now, otherwise asterisk will be work off for every domain, so every outside domain. If you don't create additional remote domain entries, all messages that are sent to all recipients in all remote domains have the same settings applied to them. Specifically, if you want to create, for example, as I mentioned, that there is a client. If for example we are working for some company, and to impress that, for example, if we want to add their logo or to add their thinking in our mail process, then that would be a great way to communicate. This would be kind of example. Otherwise, if you added the same asterisk and you do the necessary thing, then in every outside domain you will talk and we communicate, the same settings will be applied. And the thing is, the default remote domain is responsible for the settings applied to all outgoing messages except those configured for specific remote domains. So default remote domains is responsible for the settings applied to all outgoing messages except the configured one will be specifically created in a remote domain. So if you created a specific ones, then it will be according to whatever settings you have made for the same. So let's find it out how remote domains work and how we able to create. Let's move to our Exchange Server 2010 machine. Hello, I'm Rich now in Exchange Server 2010 machine, and when you open the Microsoft Exchange on premises and then organization configuration, then mailbox, client access, and in hub transport you will get the option called remote domains. Now by default, whenever you check it out, the remote domains, you will find that there is one default, and the domain is this asterisk one. You can remove and you can go to properties, and there is 4 kind of modes out there which specify you to configure out a message type delivered to this remote domain. So for example, if you want to the out of office messages to be delivered, so you can allow. Otherwise, if you don't want the communication to be done, then you can select the first option, which is allow none, that you don't want that particular thing to be configured, you don't want the out of office messages to be done, to be go out. So you can do that. Otherwise, there is always a second option. You will always find it out to select it, and that is allow external out of office messages only. That you want to allow the external out of messages only. That will always allow you to be configured. There is this third thing, and that is the allow external out of messages. That will be okay, but also legacy out of office messages configure on using Outlook 2003 or earlier clients, or configure in Exchange 2003 mailboxes. The third option will let you not only to communicate the external out of messages, but also let you to go through, for example, those machines were configured is Outlook 2003 or earlier clients. It means all the earlier version of Outlooks, or configured on Exchange 2003 mailboxes. In that case, you can allow this. This is very great feature. The third one. The fourth one is allow only internal out of messages and legacy out of office messages configured on using 2003 or earlier clients, or configure on Exchange 2003 messages. So in the fourth one, it will be only for the internal and not for the outside, for only infrastructure environment internally. The message format, you can also check it out. The message format allow automatic replies, automatic forward, delivery reports, non-delivery reports, which is very required, display sender's name on messages. These will be the message format. Use message text line wrap up, it's totally up to you. Exchange rich text format, whether you want the rich text format or you have to deliver to go with, or even you can set the character set. Some of the companies, for example, we are using the Western European ISO. There is the codes, the characters. You can, for example, in any company, if using the old version Unicodes, then you have to select the Unicode according to. Otherwise, all the languages will be preferred as the latest version only, but that depends on. You can create the new remote domain from the action pane as well. You get the option called new remote domain, and here you create the name and the domain name, including the subfolder and whatever the policy you want to create. You can go through it remote domain. Otherwise, you can simply edit the by default one, the asterisk one, which will be allowed you to whatever format you want to create, you can do that to remote domain. So this is how we basically create and edit the remote domain and the concept of remote domain. Hope you learned something regarding that. Thanks for watching.